Okay, so India's biggest problem is also unemployment.
Yeah.
Right? So what is your vision, and especially what is your government doing, say in Karnataka, to create large-scale employment opportunities?
So I've been saying here in the United States that the West, America, Europe, and India, the West used to be the producer of the world. If you wanted to buy a car in the 60s, you bought an American car.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to buy a washing machine, you wanted to buy a refrigerator, you bought an American refrigerator, you bought an American washing machine, American television. You guys were at the forefront of that, right? And then somewhere along the line, America decided, India decided, and the West decided that we're just going to stop. And we handed the whole thing to the Chinese. Now, for a country like India, to simply say that, look, we are going to ignore manufacturing and we're only going to run a services economy, means you can't give employment to your people, right? Mm. So one of the things I'm interested in is thinking about the act of production, also called manufacturing. Today, if you look at what most American companies do, look at what most Indian companies, most European countries do, they organize consumption. Uber organizes consumption. Organizing consumption is easy. Organizing production is a completely different ballgame, much more complicated. You have to deal with things when you organize production that you simply don't have to deal with when you organize consumption. So to me, there's a huge opportunity for India and the United States to regain that ability to produce, right? And we don't want to do it like the Chinese are doing it. We don't want to do it in an environment which is non-democratic, which is not liberal. So the real question for the 21st century, the Chinese have placed a production vision on the table. It's a non-democratic production vision. Can the United States and India answer that by placing a vision for production in a democratic, free society?
Okay.
And I think that's where a lot of answers lie.
All right.
Now, to complete, we have a government in Karnataka, we have a government in Telangana, and what we are doing is there are multiple different areas. Each area in India has its own speciality of production, right? If you go to pretty much any district, Bellary in Karnataka has a very deep textile industry which has been destroyed. So we are looking at these pockets of excellence and then trying to bring modern technology, financial support to build them. So the vision would be more of a decentralized production system. Unlike China, which is huge factories, we would be thinking about smaller and small medium businesses and embedding modern technology into that. We're testing some of these ideas in Karnataka and Telangana.
Right, and then you'll roll it out to...
That's generally how we operate.
Okay. All right, so while we touched upon India and the U.S., the India-U.S. nuclear deal led by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was a landmark step in India-U.S. bilateral relations. What do you see as the long-term prospects for India-U.S. relations, especially in terms of strategic partnerships? You've touched upon it a little bit, but if you could elaborate.
So there are two elements. The first is the defense cooperation, which is important, and I think we do a good job there. But then the second is what I touched on just now, which is China has placed in front of us a vision for production and prosperity in a non-democratic environment, right? What is our response? Are we simply going to just sit there and say, okay, China can be the producer of the world and we're not going to do anything? Or do we have a response? What is our response to the Belt and Road, right? I don't see one. So to me, that's really where US and India cooperation needs to go. How can we provide a democratic vision of production or manufacturing that actually works to the rest of the world? And I think both countries bring different things to the table. And I think there's a huge opportunity there.
Okay. So just staying on India and US, is there a political consensus within India on deepening strategic ties with the US?
Yes, I mean, I don't see a big diversion. I don't see Mr. Modi diverting very much from our approach with the US, and I don't see ourselves changing direction very much from what he's doing. So I see continuity there. I think everybody on both sides of the equation, everybody does accept the fact that the India-US relationship is key for both countries.
Okay. One more on the US. With the backdrop of an increasingly assertive China, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, and the crisis in Gaza, how do you view the role of the United States in global affairs?
I think you're a very powerful democracy. You believe in certain ideas on freedom, on democratic participation, and I think that's important for the world. I don't like a world where democracy were to disappear, were to weaken, right? So I think there you have a very important role to play. But standing on this side, I see challenges coming that, frankly, you've not faced before. And I don't think it's going to be that easy. The central question is, how do you challenge China on production and value addition, right? China's strength comes from that. Yes, China has a strong military, but the military strength comes from that ability to produce,